Hey, Anthem. It is Buddy again with my friend and coworker, Pastor Al. We are here once more to kind of talk through the daily discussion guide with you. We hope you're enjoying them as much as we are. And today we're talking through My Heart is Steadfast, with that scripture passage being Psalm 57 that we're hoping that you guys are reading along with us. So today, Pastor Al has been sharing with me earlier, pre-filming, how this passage really had spoken to him and his wife. And so we're privileged just to have him be able to share a bit of his story and kind of what God's been doing and continues to do in his life. And so anyway, Al, would you share with the church what's going on?
Yeah, good morning, Anthem. To start out with, Terry and I were having our morning devotions the other morning, and this is out of Jesus Calling. Many of you are familiar with that devotional, and I'd like to share it with you. And it was very profound for Terry and I, and we really genuinely believe that God spoke to us in this. So I'd encourage you to listen closely, and I'd like to read this to you. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Hear me saying, peace, be still. To your restless heart, no matter what happens, I will never leave you or forsake you. Let this assurance soak into your mind and heart until you overflow with joy. Though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, you need not fear. The media relentlessly proclaim bad news for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A steady diet of their fare will sicken you. Instead of focusing on fickle, ever-changing news broadcasts, tune into the living word, the one who is always the same. Let Scripture saturate your mind and heart, and you will walk steadily along the path of life. Even though you don't know what will happen tomorrow, you can be absolutely sure of your ultimate destination. I hold you by your right hand, and afterward I will take you into glory. Then he arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. Mark 4:39. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Deuteronomy 31:6. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Psalms 46:2. Yet I am always with you. You hold me by my right hand. You guide me with your counsel. And afterward, you will take me into glory. Psalms 73:23-24. In these times, it's hard for us to not want to tend to be fearful. There's so much unknown in all of this that, especially now, if there was ever a time to press in to Jesus and to let these scriptures actually come alive in our lives, in our everyday lives. This is the place of safety that God has given us. And I think now's the time. It'll be a great learning experience, I'm sure, for a lot of us. It's interesting when I think back to 2008, it dawned on me as I was thinking and praying about what to share today. It dawned on me that my wife and I have already been through this. I had worked for the same lumber company here in Coeur d'Alene for 34 years. In the spring of 2008, we had another company that bought us and decided to sell. And so I found myself without a job after 34 years. And then right on the heels of that, the stock market crash of 2008 happened. And I had quite a lot of money that I had built up in that 401k. And it all, not unlike today, when it started to fall, it happened so fast that there was just no recovering, and we lost the majority of our life savings. And I would tell you that I know this is going to sound cliche or whatever you might think it might sound like, but I'll say it. It was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Yeah.
Absolutely the best. And anybody that knows me, that knows this story, it's just, I'm so grateful that we went through such a hard time, because for me especially, not necessarily, I won't say this for my wife, but for me especially, it's exactly what I needed. And so be encouraged. Romans 8:28 is, and for us, this worked out for our good, far beyond what we thought we wanted for good, or what we would have chosen for good. And it was hard. I'm not in any way saying that it was easy, but I'm so grateful. My wife Terry and I are so grateful that today it led to being here now for going a little over 9 years, and being in ministry and being able to pastor you here at this church is such a privilege. And so be encouraged. And I would make this invitation to anybody that's watching this. If you're going through these times and these things, maybe you're losing your job, or maybe you're going to lose your job, or your finances, you're watching them just disappear in the stock market. I would make an invitation to you to call me. Go to our church website. My contact information is there. I would love to talk to anybody that sometimes, we need sometimes just somebody to talk to. And so having gone through this, honestly, I feel like it's something that God has prepared me for, to be able to share with somebody now that's going through the exact same thing. So anyway, Anthem, we're praying for you. We'll continue to be there as your staff. And just one final thing, in Psalm 57, 7 through 11, David shares the secret of his peace in the midst of a fearful situation. He worships. At a time when he lacked clarity and his future was unknown, David commands his heart to recount the wonders of his miracle-working God. David's heart is steadfast because God's love is steadfast. So
I love that. Thanks, Alan. I think there's just so much power to worshiping, not only when we don't feel like it, but when sometimes we can't even see the reason to worship. I think that's when it really becomes like honest, true worship, is because it's easy to worship God when you're thankful for specific blessings, or life's fun or easy or light. But to worship God when life is hard and we don't know the answers and we are losing valuable, important things, at least in my mind, it seems like that strips away a lot of the self-centered ideas of worship, and it's finally just worship instead of thankfulness is one thing, which is great, but to worship when there's not specific earthly reasons to be thankful, there's just some beauty in that I think we as a church, as a nation, have the opportunity to experience that maybe more than average. And so we love you, Anthem. Thanks for tuning in with us. Check us out online, and we'll catch you later. Bye.